Good day, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Vise Squad, brought to you by Togens Fly Shop and Dr. Slick. This week, we're going to go back to playing around with that Raid Zap resin that Togens carries. And we're going to tie a parasitic scud or a pregnant scud, a hot spot scud, call it what you want. It's a scud with an orange dot on its back. So, to tie the scud, we're going to put a size 10, 3 extra heavy scud hook from Togens in the vise, and I've got some lead-free 025 wire. I'm going to put 9 wraps on the shank of the hook. Snip that off. Pinch it together really good and make sure that that's nice and flat on there. I'll trim the back edge out. There. Now, just for a little extra weight, I'm going to put an additional 5 wraps on top of that. If you go this road, try not to pull too hard, otherwise you'll separate the lead underneath it and it'll just all be one big mess. So I'll put 5 wraps on there. I'll try and make sure that it's sort of in the middle of it. I didn't quite get it there. Won't matter too much, I don't think, though. So I'll trim that little tag off of there. There. Something like that. I have tried it with using a tungsten bead in the middle as well, which looks kind of cool. If you use an off-color bead, you can use a red bead or a green bead. Would look pretty good in there. Also help with some. Alright. So we've got that done. Now we'll use some 70 denier UTC in white. Use whatever color you want, I guess. I prefer white for this. I'm going to start my thread there. And what I'm going to do is jump it all the way to the back. I'll squeeze that up nice and tight. I do that because it's a bit of a pain getting it to jump onto the lead to start with. So we'll get rid of that tag. And then what I'm going to do is go back over and just wind my thread through all that lead-free lead. And just kind of get it all nice and tight and happy, solid. I'm going to wind my thread now so that I'm parallel more or less with the bottom of the eye. So I can draw a straight line across there. And we are going to tie in, this is some Brassie, I believe I picked. Brassie red ultra wire. I'm going to tie that on the back side of the hook. Like so. If it wraps around, no big deal, it's all going to get dubbed anyway. And next I'm going to grab some thin skin. I don't know if we've used thin skin much on these segments. I'll put the package away anyway. It's plastic with printed patterns on it. This is mottled oak black. It does come in all sorts of colors. Oh goodness.
Avon calling. Take time out for beauty when Avon comes calling. Use Avon Cosmetics and you'll be enthralling. For a pleasure-filled break in your daily routine, it's time to take time out for beauty. Avon calling.
So anyway, so we'll just tie that in really well, and we'll make sure that we tie it down to where the wire is. Now the dog wants to come in. It must be the night we film a video because everybody's noisy. So anyway, next what we're gonna grab is some. I've got this Sow Scud dubbing from Wapsie. This is a rainbow. It does come in a few different colors. It's pretty fun dubbing. It's kind of pearly and shimmery. Typically when I tie scuds, I usually tie them in olives and dark browns, but I found this stuff and I thought it was pretty neat, so give her a try. So I'll just dub some on the thread there, and we'll just start dubbing that hook up. And what you want to do is make it a little leaner at the back, and then make the middle of the body a little fatter. Hence doubling up the lead as well, that helps with that. Grab another pinch, finish that off. Okay, now that we've got that dubbed, I'm going to take that fin skin and I'm going to pull it over the top. Don't pull it too tight because it will tear. So pull it over the top, right to the eye. And I'll just put some loose wraps in there just to get it to stay. And then we'll work backwards from the eye with some tighter wraps. And then what we'll do, you can, if you're careful, if your wraps are tight enough, you can peel this out and it will peel off fairly even with the thread. I prefer to just trim it out because sometimes that will peel out from underneath your thread and then you get to start all over again. Now we'll go back to our wire and I'm going to put a couple wraps behind the body and then jump up onto the body. I'm going to work our way forward with some even spaced wraps. And just tie it off. Spin that wire out of there. Now what I'm going to do is take a brown Sharpie and just color a few inches of that thread. You don't have to, but it gives it kind of a better look on the head, I think. So we'll take that and just use our whip finish tool to cover up the head. So, alright, so that's our basic scud built there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a bodkin. I've got one that's got a bit of a hook on the end of it. It got dropped and it got bent and it turns it into a pretty good tool, so you can sort of reach in there with that little hook and grab the dubbing a little bit easier. What I'm going to do is go in between those wire wraps and pull out some dubbing, give it the look of legs. So I like to do it on one side, get them out of ways, and then I'll flip that around and do it off the other side as well. I find it makes it more full, makes the legs more full. Out like that. Now we've got a bunch of dubbing hanging below the hook. So what I'm going to do is just grab my scissors and I like to cut off just below the hook point. Alright. Next, what I'm going to do is grab that Raid Zap. I'm going to use the fluorescent orange. And I'm going to right in the middle of the back of that. And just put a little dot on the back there. Like that. And we'll grab our light, we'll cure it. This stuff does take a little while to cure, but once it does cure, it's hard as a rock. Alright, now I'm going to grab some Bone Dry and just go right over top of that whole back and then just around that head, just to secure our thread wraps. Alright, so it's a pretty simple, straightforward scud pattern. There's all sorts of stuff you could do to switch out. Like the scud back, you could actually use scud back material as well. It comes in long, thin strips. I do prefer using this thin skin because you get that mottled look and you can get different colors and different things, give them different looks. Try it with a tungsten bead even, or a brass bead in the middle. You can get kind of a neat look with that too, or two-tone of dubbing, 2 different colors of dubbing, all sorts of fun with scuds. But anyway, we really like it with that Raid Zap on there. It really makes it pop. So I guess thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, hit our sponsors' pages up, hit their Instagrams up and their Facebooks, and
keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. It will be a big. No, I really mean it. It's a gigantic issue.
And check out their websites; they've got all sorts of great stuff. And check out the Goes to 11 page, and we've got all sorts of neat content on there as well, and on the store, always new stuff going up there. So until next week, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Have a great week.